Hello, since that we're live now. Welcome to our audience in Zoom and welcome to our audience in Facebook. I'd like to welcome all to our online event, TreeMapper. On behalf of the official program of launching the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. My name is Paulina Sanchez. I'm from Mexico, and I'm honored to be your host for today's event. In this session, you will hear what science tells us about how we should plant trees and how that relates to realities on the ground. You will learn about TreeMapper and why this tool is a game changer. And you will get in touch with practitioners that work to increase the transparency and quality of restoration. All of this from remarkable speakers. Our program starts really soon, but before that, I would like to invite our audience from Zoom and Facebook to please write your questions for our speakers in the chat or over the comments section in Facebook. We will collect them all during the session and then we'll read them during the Q&A session. Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Ana Carbonell, Director of the Yucatán Research Site, Plan for the Planet Mexico. Her keynote will be on the importance of not just planting trees, but doing it right. Welcome, Ana.
Hi, Paulina. Thank you very much for the introduction. And hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be speaking here today. And I basically want to start talking to you about the importance of planting trees and how to assess the monitoring of this and how to plant trees with the correct approach. So, as most of you might know, trees are one of the most important strategies to help with the climate crisis indications. Why? Because they can offset CO2 emissions. They help us regulate extreme weather. They help us in the biodiversity conservation because they store a lot of different types of life beings. Also, they help us with food provisioning, forest recreation, and give us a lot of cultural and economic values. Okay, we come to plant trees, but why we don't do it with the correct approach? What are the implications of just not doing it in the correct way? Well, we first, in order to ensure that trees survive and we can see trees develop in different ways, we need to develop different strategies. And for that, we as scientists, we develop different methods in order to do this. We need to characterize the vegetation that is surrounded to the forest of the area that we want to start our project, our restoration or reforestation project. And for that, we like to measure and we like to understand what is going on. So we like to go and see what was the previous forest that was there. So we characterize the vegetation. And then we also identify the key species that were in that area. So how do we do that and why is it important to do it? So we do it with different tools. We go to the field and we just walk around. We try to create surveys, we create protocols in order for all the ecologists and all the staff to just walk around and identify these trees. And then we proceed to do our analysis and data analysis in our offices. And then we can create a report in which we see what's going on. From that, we make decisions in order how to improve, how to operate, how to create our project and our approach to do the restoration and reforestation. So one of these tools and something that helps us to do this is by creating these different tools, different digital tools that can help us store this information once that we are in the field. TreeMapper comes as a result of different talks with organizations and also our own experiences being in the field, in which we like to have something, a tool that we can just walk around and we can understand a little bit better. We can search the data and then we can process it later. So I just want to just finish my part of this talk just by saying, like, we as a scientist, we require these digital tools in order to understand a little bit more what is happening. And it helps us to not only have the data, but also to show it to other people and to share it with the scientific community. It is very important that we continue to develop these tools and improving them, so in that way we can have a better platform in order to share everything that is going on and everybody understands what is happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna. This is very important for us. Now, moving on, I would like to welcome Sagar, Chief Technical Officer and member of the board of Plan for the Planet Foundation, who's going to present us the TreeMapper tool. Welcome, Sagar.
Thank you, Paulina. Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to be speaking here with you today. My name is Sagar. I've been leading the technology team at Plan for the Planet for the last 2 years, almost 3 years, and I've been a part of Plan for the Planet for almost more than 10 years. So today, I would like to start by showcasing what we've done in the last few years that brings us to TreeMapper as a tool that allows us to simplify mapping and restoration. So back in 2018, when I joined Plan for the Planet full-time, leading the technology department, we started solving one of the problems for restoration organization, and this was the problem with fundraising, because many times the funds that were being collected were going to organizations in the global north, whereas many restoration initiatives in the global south were having difficulties finding the fund. So quickly we set up a platform where we could invite restoration organizations around the world to collect funding for restoration initiatives. And then we still had the second problem, which was gathering data about restoration and creating more transparent ecosystem around the world so that we could share this to donors and we could share this to the world, so we could build more trust in restoration. And especially thanks to the UN Environment Program for supporting the early development of the Plan for the Planet app. And now thanks to GICHED and the BMCHED for supporting development of TreeMapper. I'm very excited to announce that we have raised over 32 million trees through the Plan for the Planet platform that we've started. And this is a number that we've raised since the 1st of January, 2019. Plan for the Planet app is built to be open source. And at the same time, after we built our first version of the Plan for the Planet app, we asked our community with a survey. We sent an email to about 13,000 users asking them what they would like to see on the platform, what they would like to be improved. And a lot of our respondents, over 80% of the people, said they want to see the impact of where the donation goes. They want to see what's the impact that they are creating by helping this restoration organization. So now I would like to share my screen and quickly show you some of the things that we built in the last year. So here you can see the Plan for the Planet web app, which makes it easy to find projects around the world, either projects that are accepting donations or project that has been closed. So you can learn more about them and make a donation. So let's, for example, find a project over here in Haiti, which you can see has been planting about 1,000 trees. It costs about 5 SEK, which is about, I think, 0.50 cents. You can see the pictures from these projects. You can see how they're planting trees. You can learn more about these projects, and you can also see where they are doing the restoration. So initially, we tried to figure out when and where these restoration events are happening around the world with these different organizations. And to be able to get better data, we asked these organizations for polygon data so we could offer them with the opportunity to not only get high resolution satellite images, but at the same time also allow them to upload their drone imagery and other tools they might have to the world, so that people and anyone in the world could see the progress on their project. So you can see, for example, going back, just finding out of the project on the here, maybe let's go to Madagascar. This tool allows you to really see where the restoration work is happening. And for restoration organizations, this is a tool for free of cost and open source at the same time. So with the time travel feature, we try to bridge the gap between not being able to see where the fund goes But at the same time, we lacked one of the crucial things, which was many restoration organizations did not have the tools to collect this data from the ground to share us where they are planting trees every single day, so we could let the donors know, hey, your tree got planted today. So to solve this issue, and also as an input from our restoration community, we decided to work on the tool TreeMapper, which makes it easy for restoration organizations to showcase their data. And what TreeMapper is a really powerful and easy to use tool to collect on-the-site data collection, on-the-site restoration data. And it makes it easy because registering a tree with TreeMapper is as easy as locate, take a picture, measure height and diameter. Felix is going to share with you how simple it is by walking you through the entire process. But I would like to also let you know that here in the platform, some of the projects that you see are either large-scale restoration or agroforestry or urban planting. But soon, the Plan for the Planet platform will support other restoration initiatives like conservation projects, peatland restoration, and also support other units of for restoration, not only per tree, but it could be maybe per hectare or any other unit that restoration organizations around the world recommend to us. So if you have, or if you know some restoration initiatives that could make use of these beautiful tools that could be on this platform and receive donations, please send them our way. And at the same time, what TreeMapper now is going to allow us is when you go into these projects, we'll be able to see where each and every tree is registered from. In case of urban restoration, you'll be able to see individual trees, but at the same time, for large-scale projects, you'll be able to see where the project registered their tree for a day. And at the same time, we also ask them to take sample trees, which is one of the ways how statistically people collect data on how effective a forest is, or what's the survival rate in average. For example, if you plant 1,000 trees, you could take a sample of about 50 trees, and based on the sample data, you could effectively predict how well the reforestation or how well the restoration work is being done there. Felix will be sharing the detail about TreeMapper, but at the same time, TreeMapper also comes with a really advanced features like being able to create monitoring plots that allows restoration projects to set aside a sample piece of land where they can restore some of the land, whereas at the same time they can let some of the land to be just grow naturally. So by comparing the results from these two areas, we'll be able to share to the world whether restoration on certain land is actually effective or not. So now I would like to hand it over to Felix, who will be sharing this through the video that we've created on Yucatán Peninsula.
Thank you, Sagar, for showing us the amazing features of this great tool. And as he said, now we're going to see the tool in action. Felix Finkbeiner, the initiator and member of the board of Plan for the Planet Foundation, prepared a video for us during a field trip to our restoration project in Mexico. Let's check it out.
Hi Generation Restoration! I'm so excited to show you the TreeMapper app that we've been developing for the decade on ecosystem restoration to allow forest restoration projects to easily track and monitor their impact. After 2 years of preparation and coding, it's finally done. Let me show you how it works. Ruben starts by downloading the app in the Play Store or the App Store and logs into his Plan for the Planet account. The app will quickly download a database of species onto the phone. We'll see what that's good for in just a bit. Now he's ready to go. He leads a team of 20 reforesters and has the app on his phone. At the end of the planting day, he selects registered trees and then multiple trees since his team just planted thousands. He heads to the first corner of the day's planting area, records the coordinate, and takes a picture. He then repeats that process at the other corners of the planting area until the polygon is complete. It's that simple. At this point, the app asks him to register what was planted in that site. His team planted 1,050 chico zapote, 900 palo de tinte, 600 chacte, 600 morena, and a few more species. Next, Ruben is asked to register a few sample trees that can then be tracked over time. How many trees he registers is up to him. However, the app strongly recommends sampling at least one tree per species planted, ideally more. The process is very straightforward. Pick a tree, record the location, take a picture, measure the height and diameter, and finally add a tree tag. And on to the next tree. Once he's done with the last tree, the entire process is complete. Now, most restoration sites are outside the range of cell towers, but that's not a problem. The app works fully offline and will automatically upload your registered trees when it reconnects to the internet, regardless of whether that happens later that day or after weeks in the field. As soon as the data is uploaded, the planted site is added to your project's public map so that your donors, supporters, and fans can watch your progress every day. The data from all participating projects is also made available for restoration ecologists and other researchers. But you don't have to make all the data public. You can also choose to use TreeMapper to collect data for internal use only. Simply export it to your own files instead of uploading it to the Plan for the Planet platform. Is there any other data you'd like to track not included in TreeMapper's standard process? Like which team members planted those trees or who provided the seeds and seedlings? Not a problem. TreeMapper also includes a powerful form builder that allows you to add extra form fields. And you can then also choose whether to make that data public as well or keep it for internal use only with a flick of a switch. Some of your team members might not know all the scientific names of the species you're planting. To make it easier to identify them in the field, you can add a photo and a locally used name to all your species. Smaller organizations or urban planting projects might not plant large amounts of trees all at once in one location. For them, we've added the ability to register individual trees. But of course, we're not done yet. We're continuously adding new features. Starting a few months from now, you'll be able to remeasure your sampled trees to track your sites over time. And that feature will be just as easy to use as the rest of the app. In fact, the phone will notify you when you need to head out again and remeasure certain trees. And these trees will be super easy to track down based on the GPS locations in the phone and the tree tags on the tree. And after that, we're adding monitoring plots. So you'll be able to create permanent plots to track a range of ecosystem recovery indicators over time. And you'll even be able to pair them with control plots where you don't plant any trees to compare the impact of your work with a sort of non-intervention scenario. And after that, we're adding support for other restoration strategies like farmer-managed natural regeneration and applied nucleation. But this will take some time. And if you have any ideas how we might be able to improve TreeMapper beyond that, or if you experience any issues using the app, please reach out to us. And like all our projects, TreeMapper is open source, so anyone can repurpose the code or add new tools and features on top of it. I sincerely hope that TreeMapper helps you in restoring forest ecosystems, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, we've now seen the TreeMapper tool in action, but now we want to hear also the experiences from practitioners in monitoring restoration projects. And first, I would like to welcome Teresa Gitonga. She is the manager of the Watu Miti program, International Tree Foundation. Welcome, Teresa. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. As all of us work toward keeping the global warming to below 1.5 degrees and regaining ecological functionality and enhancing human well-being across all the landscapes, planting the right trees in the right place is one great initiative. We all know that, but it is not only planting. Planting is just one step. We need to make sure that we monitor those trees. In fact, putting trees on the ground is just a step, which is not the first step. We mobilize the communities, we build the capacity of those communities, and most of them know the challenges that exist on the ground. Sites are identified and prepared. Trees are transported to the forests once they are ready from the tree nurseries, and then the trees are planted on the ground. But that is not the end. The trees have to be tracked. We need to track whether the trees are surviving. We need to know how much carbon they store. We need to know the other benefits, food, economic, biodiversity, all the other benefits of the trees. That's the reason why we need to track the trees. We know that on one hand, we have a lot of local community organizations that are doing great work, very successful work on the ground, but unfortunately, they are not able to track what they are doing. And another problem is that they are not able to get resources to upscale their projects. On the other hand, we have a lot of very good funders or investors who want to do very good work, but unfortunately, they are not able to select good projects with good, with a proven track record, because a lot of organizations on the ground are not able to track what they are doing. So it is good to have platforms like Plant for the Planet. So in order to bring a long-lasting impact during this global restoration momentum, we need to provide evidence. We need to show achievements on the ground, which we are doing. We need to communicate the results. Countries, a lot of countries, our countries have done a lot of international and national commitments that they need to achieve. We want to see community improving their livelihoods. All that need to be tracked. Just briefly about my past experience in the last 15 years. When we started working on tree planting. I remember we used to count trees one by one, which was easy for a school whereby you have planted 200 trees or 50 trees. You would be able to count and say that you have a survival rate of 50 out of 100. But when it comes to mass tree planting, it was a major challenge in the forests, because you will also find there some of the dangerous animals in the forest. At some point, there was some improvement where there was handheld GPS, but the major challenge, it was also very expensive for many, and it had challenges because you had to move around the site, the site, taking the coordinates, going for in a straight line, and when you bend, then you have to record that specific GPS code. As the technology advanced, then we were able, there are a lot of tools that have been developed, a lot of interesting and many tools, but selecting the appropriate one is still a challenge to some, to some of the practitioners on the ground. We also have, there are also high resolution satellite imageries, but are they affordable to many of us on the ground? No, they are very expensive to some extent. Then what do we need on the ground? We need appropriate, easy to use, affordable tools and technologies in order to monitor and report what we are doing on the ground. We need tools that can be able to monitor ecological and socio-economic indicators. We need a coordinated and integrated forest and landscape restoration and reporting at the local level, at the national level, and at the international level. We want also to see commitments and people, governments, development agencies, research institutions, private sectors, CBOs, faith-based organizations, and experts. We want to see them commit and being able to honor the commitments. And how do they honor the commitments? Doing what they have said that they will be able to do, and being able to track what they have been able to, what they have committed to do. But the most important part, and the most important part for us, we want to see, and in order to get long-lasting impact, it's very, very important to involve the communities, the grassroots communities, and to put them at the center of everything. From the design of the project, planning, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting. Communities are very, very important. The grassroots communities know their problems, and if you want to support them in terms of sorting out the issues that surround these landscapes, then they are very key to make sure that they are involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, for your very, very direct and inspirational words. Thank you. And now I would like to hear from Emmanuel Niyoyabikoze. He's the founder of Greening Burundi. Welcome, Emmanuel. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Niyoyabikoze. I'm from Burundi. I'm the founder of Greening Burundi, a non-profit organization working here in Burundi to save our planet. There are three programs. The first one is to certify the plant trees. The second one is education details. If you are planting trees, you must set up the program in which you plant people as maturity. In order to live here, Greening Burundi, we have a program. The first one is to Green First Day. We get every First Day community people in order to make exchanges focused on environment preservation. And then we are creating environmental clubs in different schools in order to inspire young children, school children, to love, to respect, and protect our dear planet, the environment. And we have other program which is to fight against pollution, environment pollution. We organize often the cleanups. Regarding to planting trees, if you plant trees, you have to follow it. You have to keep around it in order to see if it is growing, because the tree is considered as a baby. When a baby is born, his mom continue to see him feed a baby, just like when you plant a tree, stay around it, see if it is safe or not, and take adequate measures in order to keep it in good condition. So TreeMapper is a good tool for with transparency and reporting regarding to those trees we are planting. So overall, there is a lack of transparency or reporting surrounding the specifics of tree planting projects in the publicly accessible website. For instance, near her, they did not specify the number of trees to be planted or the size of the project, or did not disclose the species planted, how they follow up or project, or the survival rate of the trees. So, but in monitoring, we must know all those information. However, even I've seen the TreeMapper will increase transparency with the senior or that planting organization is aware of the complexity involved in a successful restoration project, and if the organization planting trees have a capacity to organize, to monitor, and report back on this. So that's how everyone must involve and know if our project, if our tree planting are safe, if the trees which are being planted around the world are being grown. And also with the TreeMapper, we will know the location, the planted places will be known, and also the number of trees, and also its species. This is something we must do in order to keep give the, for example, the supporter, the donators know all those information. If their trees donated or given are being planted and they're growing. So thank you very much for your great attention.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Now we're going to move forward to our questions and answers session. And we have many questions from our audience in Zoom, but also from our audience in Facebook. And I would like to start with Dr. Ana Carbonell. We have a couple of questions. If you have 1 or 2 minutes to answer them, it would be great. One of them from our audience in Facebook is, would it make sense to use agricultural land for reforestation? I think about reforesting leased land. What would be the steps of implementation here? From Eric Ziegler, Window Company.
Okay, great. Well, yes, like we can use agricultural land and we can do different approaches. We can do restoration in this land and we can use an agroforestry approach if we want. So it really depends on what is the type of land that we see. It would be ideal to just go on an assessment of how this land is. And after that, we can start making the protocol and the method in which we are going to work. But definitely, any agricultural land that is not used anymore or that was used for agricultural purposes, it can be now used as a restoration land, and we can create a project there. Now, about leased land, yes, of course, this is just a matter of talking with the people, with the owners, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be on board in creating this new project, because this is just not a benefit only for them if it's an agroforestry approach, but it's also a benefit for all the world, because we are going to create more another green cover that will help us to fight climate crisis.
Just to add on what Anna's absolutely correctly and perfectly said, I think it's incredibly important that in the restoration work we do, we don't end up being in competition between our restoration aims and the important need of agricultural production. So it always has to be weighed very clearly what the social impact and the local impact of such restoration would be. But agroforestry often provides a wonderful opportunity where a certain amount of restoration can happen that can often also increase the agricultural yield. So we managed to achieve both of these.
Thank you to both of you, Felix and Anna. Now we have some questions also for Sagar. Sagar, two important questions for you. How accurately does the TreeMapper app function in regions of poor internet connectivity? And another one that's very important, is it possible to import data from other monitoring tools to TreeMapper?
Yeah, thank you, Paulina. Both very, very good questions. TreeMapper is designed to work fully offline. So once you download the app and download the sets of species that you plant, you can take the app fully offline with you, and you can be without internet connection for days or weeks. You can use TreeMapper to collect the data, and once you come back to a place where there is internet connection, you can then sync it to the Plant for the Planet platform. So using this data, you could either already export some of those data from the device itself without uploading to Plant for the Planet platform, or by choosing to upload it to the Plant for the Planet platform, you will be able to export that data from the platform as well in Excel or CSV in GeoJSON format, or we are planning to build integrations, for example, for Esri ArcGIS software and other mapping tools, where you'd be able to build connections using our open API.
Thank you. I have other questions regarding this specific tool. So here it is, one from our audience in Facebook. I see the TreeMapper app has intriguing use cases to monitor trees and collect on-site data. Curious to know if a user will be able to see the dashboard of one's TreeMapper account on desktop, and will it be real time?
Yeah, again, very interesting question. So if you are in the middle of a forest where there is no internet connection, and if you've been tracking the forest, then definitely we can show this on the dashboard. But once the data is uploaded to Plant for the Planet servers, you will be able to see this data on your Plant for the Planet account. We are currently working on it to make sure that this is available by end of this month. And once you will be able to upload the data, you'll be able to use all the features that are built on the platform.
Thank you, Sagar. Some questions for Felix too. One of them is regarding, I saw actually, Felix, that you were answering some questions over the chat that I think are very valuable to share to people that are watching this too. So would you like to share a bit on, I saw that, of course, if they were asking if this tool is for free, if this is available in different languages. And I saw other questions regarding the tree planting organizations or with the restoring organizations that are entering to our app. Would you like to share a bit of what you wrote over the chat?
Sure. So one thing that's crucial is that all the software tools that Plant for the Planet is developing for restoration work are entirely free for everyone, right? So if you register as part of our platform, that's free for you. If you start collecting donations as part of the platform, that's free. And we won't take any cut of your donations, but 100% of the donations go directly to you. We don't take any of the money. Of course, there are credit card fees that go directly to the credit card companies, and our payment processor takes a small cut as fees as well. But Plants for the Planet does not take any money, and TreeMapper is, of course, also free for everyone to use. So we don't make any money here in any way whatsoever. In terms of languages, we're doing our best to make this available in as many languages as possible. And of course, especially for TreeMapper, it's very important that local practitioners can use it and that it's available in local languages. But unfortunately, we have a limited numbers of different languages that we speak in the Plant for the Planet team. So far, we've been able to translate the app into 5 languages, I believe. But if there's a language that's really important for you to start using the app that we've not been able to translate it in, please reach out to us and we can work together to translate it. It only takes a few hours of work on your side, basically, to help us translate the text snippets, and then we can provide a version of this app in the language that's important to you, and not just for you, but of course for everyone. So that would be incredibly valuable. I'm seeing in the chat that Tabby asked, did the video say that farmer-managed natural regeneration projects will be added in the future and is not currently supported? And what is the resolution of the satellite imagery? And where the satellite is the satellite imagery from? You're right. Farmer-managed natural regeneration is such a fantastic way to do ecosystem restoration. So we really want to support it and enable it with our TreeMapper app. But unfortunately, we've not yet done that. That is on our project roadmap, but it'll take us some time to get there. And in terms of the satellite resolution, the most high resolution satellite imagery we have for our so as you saw in Sagar's presentation, you can see the satellite imagery from different points in time. So you can see how the site is changing over time. And we pull this satellite imagery from a range of sources. And the most high resolution satellite imagery we have is from Planet Labs, which provides a 3-meter to 5-meter resolution. So that is the best satellite imagery available there. And we also have the question from Gary, does TreeMapper complement or compete with the new platforms like Restore.eco? I think the Plant for the Planet platform and Restore.eco complement each other in many ways and are designed in a way to work together. The beauty of what Restore.eco adds is that it provides you access to global databases on a range of ecological data systems and important information to help you plan your restoration work. But obviously what Restore.eco is not focusing on, at least at the moment, is providing you these monitoring tools. And that's where TreeMapper and the Plant for the Planet platform helps. And Restore.eco, for instance, also does not provide fundraising tools. And that's also what the Plant for the Planet toolkit adds. So I think they will work together really well. Are there any other questions you want me to answer, Paulina?
Actually, no, thank you for actually stressing on, all of the basic features that this tool has for all of our stakeholders here. But now I have actually 2 questions for Teresa and one for Emmanuel. Teresa, one of them is from Ethan Dornbush to Teresa's earliest point. Are there any points of data TreeMapper plans to add to the interface in the future, such as carbon? Oh, sorry, this is actually for Sagar or for Felix. Sorry for this. Again, are there any points on data TreeMapper plans to add to the interface in the future, such as carbon offsetting information?
That's a very good question. So Plant for the Planet platform does not offer any sort of carbon offsetting in the platform. With the TreeMapper data, I think the limits are basically on how good the quality of data is. We're not exploring that option, but we'll be able to estimate, for example, how much carbon a tree could absorb based on the allometric equation. I think Anna could say more. These are some peer-reviewed articles on how much carbon a tree absorbs in different regions around the world.
Thank you, Sagar. And now a question for Teresa. According to your experiences on the ground, what would you say are the most important features that these monitoring tools need to have?
Thank you so much for that question. One, we want a simple tool because we are working with communities with different educational background. So we need very simple tools that communities can easily be able to use. Number two, we need free access or cheap tools. Because if it is expensive, then a lot of communities will not be able to use them. They will not be able to afford them. Number three, we need a tool that will be able to correct diversity of data, including ecological data, socioeconomic data. So if we have such kind of tool, then that will be important for us on the ground.
Thank you, Teresa. And one last question for Emmanuel. Emmanuel, how do you think these tools bring opportunities to small tree planting organizations? Emmanuel, the floor is yours. Are you still with us? Otherwise, Teresa, if you want to go ahead and answer in this question too, because it's pointed out to the practitioners on the monitoring of tree planting.
Sorry, repeat the question again.
Definitely. How do you think these tools bring opportunities to small tree planting organizations?
These tools are very, very important. As you heard what I was saying, we used to count trees one by one. You can imagine counting, going around counting trees one by one. Imagine a project that is planting thousands and thousands of trees. How many people will be required to count those trees? How expensive that would be. So for us, these tools have simplified our work. Number two, these tools will make us more trusted by the donors. They are able to trust us and they are able to see the impact of the work they are supporting. And also the communities themselves, they will be able to understand the achievements they will be having over time, and we'll be able to see even the progress in whatever we are doing. The countries will be able to report on the commitments they have done in country and also at the international level. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And with these amazing words, we're running out of time. I would like to thank everyone, all our amazing and remarkable speakers, our audience in Facebook and in Zoom. Thank you for joining us on today's online event, TreeMapper, on behalf of the official program of launching the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Thank you and goodbye.